In the words of Dwight, a fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful. Cue music! Oh yes, bitches and hoes. I'm back.
I'll drop a player like it's nothing, it ain't working out. Now no debate or for discussion, bitch, I'm walking out. My time is money, I ain't loving, let you toast it out. Flip my weave and walk it out, look how I just bossed it out. Now come on baby, why you bugging, we can't talk it out. I keeps it moving, I ain't tripping, lost another spouse. I'm just a boss, it's in my blood, no I won't scream or shout. Grabbing my keys.
Cause oh yes, bitches and hoes, I'm back. Back with another video, and I know I'm late or whatever. Give a bitch a little chance. You know, I went to Mexico to get my little mind right or whatever. Might be a little darker, but you know, black is beautiful, dark and lovely. Let's get it. But yeah, we back here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode, I think it's 16. Oh She by Sheree. That's what we gonna call it. Oh She Ain't No Sheree. Girl, we tired of you. This episode has told me and taught me that Sheree is the most irresponsible person on reality TV, period. You knew you was coming on TV, girl. You should have had all this stuff. You mean to tell me you figuring this all out at the end, in the fourth quarter? I don't want to hear it. But let's get into the episode. So the episode opens up with Ace going to acting class. Ace and his mama going to acting class. Candace says she be doing acting with him. They be reading roles and whatnot. And he's reading a role for, I don't know what the show is or what it was, but one of his lines is, what does it say? Peanut butter on the roof of my tongue or something like that. It was so cute. He was cute. Go ahead on, little Ace. I'm here for Ace. Ace took a couple of takes or whatever, but he was ready for it, and I'm here for it. Listen, I think it's a good bonding experience because Candy does acting, obviously, and then she gets to do that with her son, and then Ace gets his acting thing off. I think that's super, super dope. So shout out to Candy for that. But moving on, Marlo is over there preparing for her nephews to come home. She said it's been 30 days. She ready for the boys to come home. Now remember, she was ready earlier, but then changed her mind. But she ready for the boys to come home. She called her sister and was like, hey girl, you didn't tell the boys they was coming home, huh? The sister said, did. Girl, them boys is bad. They don't take no medicine. They don't follow no rules. This the same sister was telling her about the structure. The girl, they ain't doing nothing. Ready for them to come home, then already told them. Now, mother was like, oh my God, it was supposed to be surprised. Like, why would you tell them? Because the girl said, look, it's time for you to come get them. Will you come and get them tonight? Marlo said, oh no, not tonight. I'm coming to get them in another day. See, now Marlo, you make the audience question, do you really miss the boys or do you feel like you have to go get the boys because the streets is tearing your ass up? Inquiring minds want to know because the sister said they ain't learned a goddamn thing. Well, we'll see here in the future. Let's move on. We move to the next scene. Drew's laying on the couch because her foot still hurt. She done had her Achilles fixed for the third time. Drew said that, she got like 22 stitches. She laid up on the couch, high as the cost of living. And guess who comes to see her? Her two enemies, Sheree and Sanya. Them the helpers that come to see her. And Drew appreciates this. She said, because you know what? This is what counts. But those are the ones you was giving the most shit, Drew. That's why you gotta reevaluate your shit, fat. The ones you was over there clinging to, they ain't come see you. But Sanya and Kenya came to see you, right? So then Kenya pulls up and Kenya was like, girl, look. I mean, not Kenya. Sheree pulls up, I'm sorry. Sheree pulls up and Sanya, and Sheree brings up the fact that basically Kenya said Sanya's husband was being aggressive by standing up and shouting, and they played the flashback, girl. Kenya reaching once again. That's what Kenya does. She reaches, I'm talking about the heifer arm should be so long it's ridiculous because all she do is reach. And it's just at this point like, girl, like, that man stood up for his wife. I'm with Sanya on this. Sanya said she don't know what it feels like to have a man stand up for her. Don't. I'm going to stop you when you start lying. Girl, please. That man stood up for his wife. I get it, y'all were women, but y'all were multiple women jumping on his wife. He did what he had to do. It is what it is. I don't know what you want me to say because I ain't going to say he did nothing wrong. Period. So Sanya decides, that's messed up. You can come for me, come for this, that, and the third, for my medals, but don't come for my husband. So she decides to FaceTime Kenya to see what the hell going on. But Kenya is acting like she see, oh girl, I just woke up. I can't, I'm going to call you back. Wait, what? Oh Lord, let me call you back. Now she got the sleepsies and the amnesias. Girl, Kenya, please. I feel like this. At the end of the day, you should have stood on your square and said, yeah, your husband was aggressive. If that's how you really felt. But I felt like Kenya was being Black Karen, the blaring. I talked about that last week. She ain't gonna own up to it. Let's move on. We move to the next scene. Kenya shows up to Sheree's casting call to get her some models. Girl, they had about 8 people there, and it was all 5, 6, and under. I'm not even in the modeling world, and I knew that was a foul. The first thing Kenya said was, "Wait a minute, pause, Rohan, whatever the girl was she hired. Where is the models?" And Rohan said, "Well, at Sheree's discretion, we wanted it to be private." Like Kenya said, "How the hell is it gonna be private? And we need models. We need everybody in here. What are you talking about?" So then Rohan was sitting there talking about what she do and all her credentials. And then basically Kenya was like, "Well, we facing the wrong way, number one. How we going to watch these people come down the runway and we facing this way? We switch this around." Basically, Kenya came in and took over all of that shit. Because Kenya was like, "Rohan, you don't really know what you're doing." Rohan felt some type of way and was like, "Girl, look, first of all, it ain't on me. We ain't got no budget." Now, this goes back to Sheree and her financials, which she by Sheree, because you know they say the girl don't pay. And the lady said, "It ain't on me, girl. This is a free casting call, and this is what we got. It is what it is." Sheree, where's the budget? Because later on in the episode, you said you spent $1 million. Where's the budget? We got a fashion show with no fashions. You should at least have a modeling budget. The people need to know where is the budget. But off goes the walking girl. Everybody was cute, but you know, everybody was so short. You know, Kenya's thinking of the Miss America or USA, whatever the hell she was. So she's thinking on the sense of, girl, look, no, we need some tall girls, some, you know, figure-esque girls, as you should. But Kenya basically tells Rohan, "Girl, this must be your first rodeo." Rohan said, "Oh, no, in fact, this ain't my first rodeo." She said, "Girl, it's got to be, because this don't even make no sense." What do I think? I think Rohan is doing what Sheree's budget allows. That's what I'm thinking. Granted, I'm not saying Rohan got the best fashion sense and the best taste and everything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is Rohan is doing what the budget allows. Period. The culprit is Sheree. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on. We move on to the next scene. Ralph is over there doing his photo shoot for the book cover. The book cover that Drew don't know nothing about. She got to hear the one excerpt that the other girls got to hear, but she's supposed to be writing the forward. She said she's going to do that to support her husband or whatever. If that what support look like, then unsupport me, please. Say what I said. But yeah, she going to write the forward and all that, even though she don't know what it's about. And now she sees the vision come to life. Ralph is taking his photos, you know, walking in slow motion. She's like, "Oh, I see the vision. I see it." Drew got her monitor, you know, look just like Drew and tap him on. After the photo shoot, they rap, girl. They go to talk on the side. And Drew tells Ralph, "I hope you don't mind. I told my mama that you weren't going to adopt Josiah." Now, here go this whole conversation again. Basically, Drew's whole thing is, you said you was going to adopt him, and then all of a sudden it changed. "I just told my mama." The mama feel like, "Well, I feel you, you know what I'm saying? But why would you do that? Why would you flip-flop on Josiah like that?" But I get Ralph's point. Ralph's thing is just like, listen, I do want to adopt Josiah. But number one, I got to take it up with him. And number two, his father has an issue with that. This is my only problem with the father having an issue. Because you even said yourself, Ralph, you done invited him to baseball games or whatever sports it is little Josiah is playing. Why do you have to put more forth of an effort than the father, the one who don't want his son to have his rights, or the person who don't want his rights forfeited? It doesn't make sense. You should not have to guide him on how to be a father. The fact that you have to do that to me, and I'm not a man, but would tell me I need to go ahead on and adopt this child because this person is not reliable. Prison or no prison, and even if you was in prison, you take the L, you wasn't a good father. Period. Unless you was completely wrongfully convicted and framed, I don't have no sympathy for you. Not to mention you out. Ralph had to invite you to some old sports shit for you to pull up, and even when you pulled up, you still wishy-washy knit-knat. Ralph, I say go ahead on and talk to Josiah and adopt the little boy. That's just my opinion. But the mama feels some type of way because she was like, how does that make Josiah feel? If that's how you really wanted to do, you should have really just did it. While I understand that, at the end of the day, mama, mind your business, number one. And then number two, if Drew is sitting up in her confessional saying that she want Ralph to adopt little Josiah but won't tell it to Ralph in his face, then what are we to do as viewers? Let's move on. We move to the next scene. Marlo finally got the boys back. Girl, the boys are so happy to be home. They say they get to shower in a clean shower. It's clean. Yeah, it's clean. They got their own beds. And in my mind, I said, oh, The sister house must not be that clean. Why are they so happy about a clean shower? Girl, Michael and William so happy to be home. They doing homework without asking. Say they know their chores. Girl, they just happy to be home. Girl, did you send them children down there to the hell? To the pits of hell? Did you send them to, not Buckhead, Bankhead? Where does your sister live? And couldn't you not at least put her up in a decent apartment for 30 days so your nephews can have the right accommodations? I'm just asking because if you was a man, it would have been provided. But let's move on. So the boys are happy to be home. Marlo lets the boys know, listen, we're going to have structure this time. We're not just pulling up, doing whatever we want, popping out, all this, that, and the third. You expected to do good in school. You expected to do homework. Even when you don't have homework, read, all of this stuff. I'm here for it, Marlo. I just want you to stick to it. I'm sorry, but she gives them the new rules, and the boys are good to have it, and they're good to be back. They are so happy to be back. In my opinion, maybe the 30 days is what they needed. That's just how I feel. Maybe they did need the 30 days. Everybody was thrashing Marlo, even though Marlo needs to be thrashed on a lot of stuff. But maybe the 30 days is what they needed because now they get to appreciate the things that they have. Let's move on. We move to the next thing. Girl, it's the day of the birthday party. Now, Drew, when she was knocked out, he and Sanya called to check Kenya. She was talking about how Sheree wanted to throw a surprise birthday party for Marlo in Kenya. Reason being is because they keep beefing, but they both Aquarius, a couple days apart, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So it's the day of the party. Ralph done had all the streamers and Party City set up all the balloons. Drew come down there on one knee like she about to propose. She's ready for the day to go off without a hitch. They look at the budget, girl. It was $700 for balloons, but only $500 for the catering. I said, y'all must have had barbecue meatballs and finger sandwiches. That's all I can get from that. Barbecue meatballs and finger sandwiches. Ain't no way the balloons cost more than the doggone catering. Did y'all go to Party City because it was cheaper? If you didn't, y'all damn crazy. Either way, Sheree arrived and Drew wants her half of the money. Drew said, you said we was going to do this together. Here's your invoice. I already sent it to you, girl. When can I expect my payment? And as we know, Sheree don't pay. You know, that should be a slogan for 2022. Sheree don't pay. She don't. So Sheree said, girl, I never tell you that. Bloop, bloop. Never said that. And she said, actually, what I need to do is deduct some of my other stuff. You know, I bought the cake and I bought this, that, and the third. Girl, Sheree not going to pay you, girl. And that's just what it is. Hell, even Drew had to get in her confessional and say, she not going to pay me. She not fed. And that's all right. You know what I'm saying? Next time, don't finalize nothing till you get the heifer credit card online. The boy did say she don't pay. Either way, Sheree gets a doggone phone call because she said she been spending all her time and money on She by Sheree. And the girl called her and said, girl, we down here at the doggone warehouse and ain't none of your shit ready. The stuff you thought you had, you ain't got it. And the stuff you thought was ready ain't ready. Said what I said. Now Sheree is on track to have another fashion show with no fashions. And for the life of me, somebody get the white heel because this is out of pocket. This, you know what this told me though? Sheree really did put all this stuff together last minute. Because there's no way, like she said, she got stuff stuck in Alaska and whatnot and the third. Girl, please. You must have just ordered this stuff a week before y'all started taping. That's the only thing I can think of. Because there's no way you should be having these issues. Even with Rohan. Rohan said you ain't got the budget. I'm sorry. So I'm inclined to believe it's you. Baby, it's you. You're the one fucked up. I'm inclined to believe that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, if you was doing so well and doing everything you needed to do, why are we still here 20 years later at a fashion show with no fashion? Somebody get the white on the ones and twos. I'm not here for it, and I don't think anybody else here for it. But anyway, she gets back to the table. The girls starting to arrive. Now, Kenya and Marlo kind of arrived together. Kenya said she can't shake this beast. Talking about Marlo. But she ended up closing the door in Kenya's face. I'm sorry, in Marlo's face. Girl, we tired of it, y'all. We tired of it. And Marlo said, I know they have to saw me, but anyway, let's move on. Basically, Sheree said her and Drew's rivalry, was able to be taken care of and mended. So she feels like this is something that Marlo and Kenya commend. I don't know, because they both is something different. They different. Drew basically said that she brought all Marlo's family and one of Kenya's cousin friends. Because, you know, Kenya ain't got no friends. Listen, all the Kenya fans, can y'all explain to me why she ain't got no friends? I met a girl. I know a girl in real life that don't have no friends. And I squint my eyes at the heifer every time I see her. How you don't have at least one? It's like a Frito-Lay. You got to have at least one. Girl, what you got going on? Either way, Kenya cousin friend or whoever it was that came and Marlo had a whole barrage of people pulled up. Girl, so they all there. When they walk in, Marlo is super surprised to see all her friends. Kenya's super surprised to see her one friend cousin. It just didn't sit right with me. But they sit down, they sit basically across from each other. Drew makes a toast and say, listen, I did this and me and Sheree did this basically to show you guys that, hey, we love you, we want y'all to be together. We basically tired of the fighting fad. This is getting tired of Drew. We tired of it. We tired. So then now, Kenya and Marlo have a back and forth, and basically they trying to figure out who started it. It don't matter who started it, but they did a flashback, and Marlo said, girl, you been shading me from the beginning, and then they did one on Marlo, and Marlo been shading Kenya from the beginning. They both hit below the belt at this point. What are we doing? That's my big question. What exactly are we doing? Like, are y'all having gonna move forward or not? Because if not, then what are we doing here? Can I say Monietta was there and she looked cute? You know, shout out to Monietta. She from the city. Let's go, Monietta. Gon' say that. But, I mean, other than that, girl, what are we doing? I don't even want these episodes to make up at this point because it makes for good TV that they doggone beefing, if you ask me. I don't know, but anyway, after we meet all their cousins and the cousin get up and give a toast, the cousin gives up and give a toast. This is Marlo's cousin to say, listen, Marlo is like my mama bear. She's there for me whenever I need her. That means money. And then basically she says, you know, I tells Marlo, don't fight with Kenya. Kenya's a good person. Don't do that, fat. Get along. Can we all just get along like Rodney King? And you know, in my mind, I'm like, girl, you really was practicing that for the show. Girl, please. You don't give a damn about no damn Kenya. Maybe you might be a Kenya fan. I ain't even gonna lie. But basically, Drew says she don't want to see him fight no more. Everybody's over it. And again, they bring up the old shade. And Kenya's whole thing is, Marlo, you go too low. And then Marlo's whole thing is, no, Kenya, you go too low. Both of y'all help us go too low. Listen, I'm over it. I ain't got no more else to say about it. I don't think y'all need to be friends. And that's okay. I think y'all need to be cordial. But I don't think y'all need to be friends. But here comes the shady game. The what ifs. Girl, one of the what ifs was, what would you do if you threw a party with somebody and they skipped out on the bill? Like Candace said, call a name on it. Put an address on it. Who did it? Girl, y'all know who did it before she asked. It just doesn't make sense. But it was a shady game at the wrong time. They were trying to get on the right foot. That's what they do, just throw in some shade, and here we are. And it's just like, girl, we don't want to hear for it. But they start to ask Sheree about what's going on with She Gone by Sheree. Girl, what's the tea? What's going on? You ready? Because Sheree gets up and gives her her invites, little Barbie clothes. You know, it's cute. Okay, Ken and Barbie and, you know, the cousins and all that. But the problem is Sheree ain't got no fashions. Like Candace said, girl, you might well go into selling Barbie clothes because at this point, it's above us now. Like Kenya said, girl, I came down there at the fashion show. You said you spent $1 million. It wasn't no $1 million I seen. Sheree swore to God she ain't said that, but the producers is messy. They played it back. Girl, what is going on? Like, I'm confused. Like, what is going on? Like, do you have the fashions or do you not? At this point, you don't. And I feel like you don't because it's not your priority. Your priority at the time was Tyrone. And that's a whole other subject I don't even want to get into. But nevertheless, girl, you giving out invites and you ain't got no fashions. Like Kenya said, fashions without no fashion. No, what she say? Fashion show without no fashions is just dreadful. In my Dwight voice. Can we get Dwight on the ones and twos? I'm sorry. But Kenya basically said, who all wants Sheree to win? Everybody raises their hand. Hell, I'm raising my hand, Sheree. We want you to win. But we need you to do better at this point. We really do. But basically, Sheree wants to do a prayer that her fashion show goes off with a hitch. And, yeah, they do that prayer, girl. Listen, I don't know what y'all expecting out of this She by Sheree. Girl, ain't no she or no Sheree. That's my opinion. But moving on, after Sheree denies spending $1 million and says it was all a lie, we already talked about them wanting to win. So Sheree goes meet up with Apollo. And in my mind, I'm like, first of all, who's getting out this Phantom? And it was this light-skinned dude with a beard. And I said, oh, he fine. And who was it? It was Apollo. Apollo jumps out the Phantom in slow motion. And in my mind, I said, didn't you just get out the feds? You'll be back. But he looked good though from the time being. So Apollo gets out the Phantom, come up in there in that little juke joint, and sits down with Sheree, and they have a conversation. And basically, Sheree is stuck for models, girl. So she asks Apollo if he wouldn't mind, strutting his stuff down the runway. And, he ain't got nothing else to do. He on house arrest, ankle bracelet, and whatnot. So he said, yeah, I'll pull up on you. But then he starts to talk about how his ex, a.k.a. Phaedra, left him for dead. Let me tell y'all something, as you should. I am an attorney. Hell, I could have been working on a garbage truck. If you want to do some grimy stuff, I'm not coming down there entertaining you. See, the black male worship ain't doing it. She did what she was supposed to do. I would have did it. You mean to tell me you going to do some old federal messed up stuff, and then you want me to stand next to you as an attorney or even as a black woman? I don't give a damn if I was flipping waffles at Waffle House. You want me to stand next to you, head tall like Biggie daughter? Oh, you a damn fool. Talking about she left me for dead, as she should. She did, and she should have. She wasn't there for me for my hearing. She shouldn't have. She wasn't there for me for my sentencing. She shouldn't have. She wasn't there for me to send me roses and flowers and whatnot. She shouldn't have. Apollo, what do you want? I just need you to tell me what you want. Because at this point, we don't know what you want. Needless to say, he goes on into that diatribe, and Sheree tried to act like she wasn't interested, but then talk about doggone Tyrone. This is what I liked about what Apollo said. Apollo said, listen, I'm in jail with these dudes. I watch these dudes have all these girls thinking they're the one and selling them all these dreams and woo, and the whole time they got 15 other girls coming in there every day. So when I saw Tyrone and he said you was his girl, it was all cool to dap him up and woo, but girl, it makes sense. What other confirmation do you need, Sheree? Because I see you down there with Martell. Martell with 15 kids. We ought to call him Motel. Girl, leave these dusties alone and move on. Find you something better, because this is not giving what it's supposed to give. Either way, she left off on that note. Yeah. Niggas lie in jail. That's what they do. That's why they here. We don't want to hear no more about you and Tyrone. He already played you. You already told, Apollo how you done called him and he answered the phone. Girl, we don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to find it. Drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She Ain't by Sheree. It's by Alibaba at this point. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you hoes later. Bye.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.